I cannot stand it.
Don't look, Mamma. Turn your head away.
To be reduced to being mere visitors on sufferance in one's own house. No, indeed, I cannot endure it.
Oh, poor beloved Norland. Look at them. Like the hordes of an invading army.
But you must remember the house is now theirs by right.
Oh, don't talk to me of rights. What are they compared with feelings and the concerns of the human heart?
Oh, believe me, I do understand your attitude. But alas, strong feelings alone are of no great value in a court of law.
Oh.
Now come, Mamma.
They could be so insensitive as to force their way in and dispossess us with the ink scarcely dry upon the will I do not know. Well, one thing is certain. I cannot bring myself to be civil to that young woman.
No, nor I.
But, Mother...
I'm sure it is all her doing. Oh, well. My mind is quite made up. I shall seek some other place for us to live. I cannot remain here on sufferance.
What? And leave Norland? I think I should die.
Fanny, my love, I have been thinking. I feel it as an obligation that we should make some additional provision for the girls and their mother. After all, Norland has been their home all their lives.
Remember, John, dear, they are only your half-sisters, and their mother, excellent woman though no doubt she may be, is no blood relation at all.
Oh, yes, quite. But it was my father's last request to me that I should assist his widow and daughters.
So you say, dear, but 10 to 1 he was light-headed at the time. He must have been to persuade you to give half your fortune away from your own child. But do exactly as you wish, of course. The money is yours.
In that case, we will settle the matter immediately.
Very well, John, dear.
But it was not my intention to give away half this legacy, my love. Although I suppose it could be said that we were already reasonably provided for ourselves. No, I was thinking in terms of an annuity of some sort.
An annuity? Oh, John, dear, is that wise? I have not seen Mrs. Dashwood closely, but if you observe, people always seem to live forever once an annuity has been settled upon them. No, I cannot agree to that. But the decision is entirely yours, of course.
Please ask Mrs. Dashwood and the Miss Dashwoods if they would be kind enough to join us. No, you are probably quite right, my love. On second thoughts, it would be wiser, possibly, to make it a fixed amount.
And no doubt they would greatly prefer it that way. What sum had you in mind?
Well, would you think £1,000 to be an adequate amount?
£1,000? I should think they would consider it a prodigious increase to their fortunes. What brother on earth would do half as much for his sisters, I'd like to know, even if they were his real sisters?
You think it is too much, then?
Oh, no, indeed, not in the least, if that is the sum you are settled upon. I was merely thinking that 3 women alone, with no man to guide them, one wouldn't like to feel they might become the prey of fortune hunters.
Oh, that is true. That is very true. A smaller sum, prudently invested, would not prove a temptation to the unscrupulous, while in addition to what they already have, should secure their independence, if they are careful.
To be sure it would. Indeed, I am certain your father had no thought of anything near so generous in his mind.
You are probably quite right, my love.
Goodness. 3 women alone, with no carriage and scarcely any servants. Their housekeeping will be nothing at all. Indeed, you can depend upon it. They will be far better off than we are, in this great house, with 20 servants and so much entertaining to be done. As to your giving them more, it's quite absurd. If you ask me, they will be much more able to give you something.
Ah, here they are. Come in. Well, now, there is no need to extend to you a welcome to what is... Oh.
My mother and Marianne asked me to apologise, but they're very busy sewing at the moment. They hope to be done shortly.
Indeed.
I trust that you're quite comfortably settled, Fanny. I always think moving house is so fatiguing.
Thank you. We are getting straight by degrees.
Good, I'm so glad.
Well, now, we wish to make it quite clear, do we not, my love, that though by the terms of my father's bequest Norland has now passed into my possession, we naturally wish to extend a very sincere welcome. Yes, what is it?
Oh, beg your pardon. I was not aware.
Oh, do please come in.
Ah, Edward. May I present my wife's brother, Mr. Edward Ferrars, Miss Dashwood.
How do you do, Mr. Ferrars?
How do you do, Ma'am?
Fanny and Edward's dear mother has a very fine place not far from Tunbridge Wells.
Is that so?
Yes, a very fine place indeed.
Edward, be
Sit
seated.
down. I do beg your pardon.
Yes, as I was saying, the timber alone is considered to be some of the most valuable in the south of England.
You say he's handsome, but has he what I call an expressive face?
Oh, yes, I think so.
One can hardly credit such a thing somehow in one of that family.
At least he bears no resemblance at all to Fanny.
Oh, then that is enough for me. It implies everything that is amiable.
I'm sure you will both like him when you get to know him.
Like him? I almost love him already.
Oh, dearest Mamma, you are incorrigible.
Oh, Elinor, my love. I do apologise for my outburst just now, and for my childish refusal to meet her. From henceforth, I promise you I will mend my ways. Oh, what should we do without our wise, our prudent Elinor, eh?
Well, what are his interests, Eleanor, and his powers of conversation?
Rather limited, I fear. As I say, he scarcely spoke a word.
And yet you liked him, eh? For you did like him a little, my love, I think. Did you not?
What I was permitted to see and hear, while Brother John was holding forth about the great wealth and perfection of the Ferrars family in general, I liked well enough, certainly.
Ah, Miss Dashwood.
Oh, am I the first down?
I was just admiring this view of the house. Were you the artist?
I was, yes.
Oh, I don't profess to be a great judge of these matters, but it seems most excellent to me. From where exactly did you take it? The viewpoint is most novel.
Ah, well, I'm afraid my sister must take the credit for that, Mr. Ferrars. She has a great eye for the picturesque. I merely record what is before me, as best I can.
I'm sure you underestimate yourself.
But here she is, so you can ask her yourself.
For heaven's sake, save me from Brother John and that awful... Oh! I beg your pardon?
Mr. Edward Ferrars, my sister, Marianne.
How do you do, Miss Marianne?
How do you do?
Mr. Ferrars was intrigued to know from which point the sketch was taken. I was about to tell him that we could show him many others equally fine, could we not?
You could, Eleanor, but I'm afraid I could not.
Marianne.
Mr. Ferrars, wise and discerning man, has paid you the compliment of admiring your work. Please don't embarrass him by dragging me into it. But I thought I heard the gong.
Ah, well, in that case,
no,
perhaps...
I might well have been mistaken. Please excuse me. There are several other sketches of my sister's which I'm sure you'd like to see on that wall.
Over here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ferrars, but you cannot possibly wish to see them.
But I do.
Ah, good. Then we may all go in for dinner.